Hi, my name is Ivan Ramirez. I'm 14 years old, and here's my story. When I was a little kid, I was in Guatemala, and my mom worked a lot. It came a problem when my granddad wanted to get me and teach me how to work in the farm, but he wanted to show me machismo. And that's something my mom never liked, and she didn't want me to be one and have a bad life. So we drove in a bus, and I remember she paid someone to pass Mexico to the US, and someone would help us and left us in a house, and he said, "There are bad guys and it's dangerous." In the few days we were in the house, inside the house, it was really bad. The food was bad and hard to chew, and we had to be quiet because we didn't want to get in trouble. I was later told by my mom that those men had kidnapped us and she was forced to pay money. She didn't want to tell me because she didn't want me to get scared. And later, he gave us a number. We had to give it to someone, and that's how you know you paid to cross the US. After the coyote helped us pass the US, I remember I had a monkey and I had it, and they told me to leave it or throw it away because they were gonna take it from me over there, and I didn't want that. So I said no, and I kept it. I remember I had it on my neck. Afterwards, my mom and I had to cross a river, so we had to inflate a boat with an air machine. Then we went inside the boat, but there were people inside the boat. Shortly after, the boat was sinking, and we were scared because we didn't know how to swim, and we thought we were going to die. It was really deep, and we didn't put that much air because of the pressure. Me and my mom were holding hands because we were really scared, but we did it. And at that time, when we crossed, I saw a big boat with a lot of police, and I thought they were nice people that would help us. I didn't know what was happening, and later someone told us to run fast. And people were crying, running, bleeding, and vomiting, and a lot of people never woke up again. I remember the police in front of us, so we decided to give up. Police tried to wake up people, but they didn't wake up. So they put them in another car, and someone said they were dead. At that time, I didn't know what was that. They put us in another car, and they took us to another place. And I thought myself, well, they might help us. I don't want to remember, but I know it's important. When they put us in the car and left us in the big place, they put us inside with some of our clothes. And they took our backpack, and they took my monkey. And I thought they were gonna give it back. And they put our name on it and store it somewhere. And they left us inside and forced us to take a shower. A lot of people got sick because that place was really cold, and because they just took a shower. And I was really scared because everyone was getting sick, and I didn't know what was happening to them. And because that place was really cold, and after taking a shower, I thought I was gonna get sick. But good thing my mom put a lot of clothes after we took a shower, so I didn't get sick. But she got sick, and I was scared something was gonna happen or she was gonna get worse. And a lot of people were getting sick and sent in to the hospital. Then they put us in a line, and when the other people finished showering, the officers came to us and say that they had to check our things. And they took my mom's things, and they wanted to take my monkey. And I remember when they said that they were gonna take my monkey over there. I didn't want to give my monkey, but they took it from me, and they told me if it had drugs or anything like that. And in front of me, they ripped off everything, and I was really sad. I had it since I was really small, and it was really special for me. I remember all the time with my monkey and all the years seeing the only thing that meant a lot for me. For someone to break it apart was really sad. And I started to cry and saying, "My monkey, give it back." And they wanted to throw it away, but I said no, because my mom can throw it back. But they told me that I didn't need it anymore and threw it away. And they got my mom's things and threw it away too. But we finally got out of there. But I was really sad about my monkey. And my mom told me I shouldn't worry because I could get a new one. And I told her I didn't want a new one. I wanted the one they took away from me. And she said I couldn't get that one because they already threw it away in the trash. And I thought myself I would do anything to get my monkey back, but I couldn't. But they put us in a celda where it was really, really cold and it felt like a freezer. So they would just give us a blanket that looked like an aluminum to cover, but that would make it colder because some holes on the blanket would go inside and make it colder. And saw people dying and vomiting and people saying, "Ayuda, ayuda." And we saw someone with a baby that didn't have a blanket and the officers didn't give her one. And my mom decided to rip her blanket and give her the other half. And 4 days had passed, and the only food they will give us was one time a day. And the food was like a taco, and it was really bad and hard to chew, and that's what they would give us every single day. And after the 4 days we were there, it was nighttime, and they called my mom's name, and others people's name, and they put us in a line, and they put us in the car with a lot of people. The place we were was called Hielera. They took us to another place and put us in a car, and after being for 4 days in the Hielera, I thought to myself, if it won't be good over there, it won't be good in here. But the point was that I knew something was not gonna be good in there. So me and my mom were scared, and they took us to shower to see if we had something. And after that, we got in another cage, and there were a lot of people, and it was big, and it actually looked like a jail because it had tubos. And it was still cold. They gave us the same blanket and spent the night over there. They gave us food, but it was the same food from over there. And the place we were was called La Perrera. They put us in the cage all the time until they called our name. And we had to pass the same process. And we stood in line, and I thought it was not going to be a good thing 100%. And then they took us to another jail, and it was called something around Carnes. And then we were there for 11 months, and some weeks it was like a year. I remember lots of people would faint and vomit, and someone would be lonely in a cage. Some people thought she was crazy. The food in there was really bad. All the time we found bugs and worms inside the beans. So we would tell them why we found these inside our food, and they would tell us maybe it fell down, just eat it. Every month, 3 guys would come and check the place, and the policemen told us if we say something bad, they would put us in a lonely cage and not give us food, and they would say that we refused to eat. We were not supposed to get close to them. I went to school there, and the teacher would teach us numbers 1 to 10, and also the teacher also told us to not talk to them. So it passed some time, and we still learned the same thing, and it was kind of sad seeing the teacher because she would bring her food and we would smell it from far away. Every time school finished, our parents were supposed to be there if we were not 10 years old. And I was 8, and my mom had to be there. And if your parents was not there, they would scream at them and told them that they should be over there. And my mom didn't like that. And sometimes kids would tell, that's my parent. But it was a lie. They would tell that lie because they were scared of them. So time would pass, but it went slowly because the police would scream at us, and every day they would come to knock our celda. There were 8 of us in our celda, so they would check to see if you were there and if you didn't eat. And if you didn't eat, they would get mad at you, and if you get sick, they would not care about us, and they would scream at us. One time, we did a protest saying, Libérenos, and they got mad at us, and I was really scared because I thought they would do something to us, something bad. And sometimes our family would give us money to buy food because there wasn't good food in there. And the police wouldn't let us buy stuff because we protested. And some people would work, and it would depend on how much they work. 1 hour, $1. And if the person did the protest, they would not get paid. My mom was one of the people who was working there, and she was not getting paid. Before this, my mom would buy food because I was getting sick of the food in there. So we did another protest, and we didn't eat for like 3 weeks. And they would know because we didn't use our ID to scan it. But my mom would give me food every week or every 3 days. But I was feeling sick and dizzy, and we used to make appointments with the doctor, but they wouldn't help us. Until the 3 guys came, they started giving good food, toys, and that's when the doctor told me I was okay. But I didn't feel okay. I was dizzy and my stomach was hurting. So when the people came, they were checking the building, and with the good food, I was getting better. But when they left, they would start giving the bad food again and taking out the toys, going room by room to get them. And that's when you would hear every kid crying. One time a kid told the police why did he had a gun close to him, and he said, that's for people who don't pay attention and don't listen to the rules. I got scared because my mom would be doing a lot of protests, and I told her what I heard. And she said everything would be okay. And every day would be like that. We would get in trouble. And when the 3 guys came to check the building, they would start giving good food and toys to everyone. But the sad thing is when they left, they would start taking our things away. And that's basically a year in that jail. So after that, I don't know what happened. I heard my name and I was in school. And I heard when they said, Hilda Ramirez and Ivan Ramirez. I think they called our number and they said, please go to the room 702. And that's the room where you would get free or be back from where you came from. So me and my mom were really scared. And we were able to call our lawyer. And we called them and they said we could get free. We were really happy. And we went to the room 702. And we were in a big line and seeing a lot of people crying, saying, please, I don't want to go back to my country. And then I would see them crying and I got really scared. But they called my mom and said, we will put something to your leg so we can know where you are. And we would only stay in this part of Austin, and if you left, it would get red and beep, beep, beep. And they said, you cannot take it off. And if you do, we would go to you and your kid and we would be able to take your kid. And then my mom said, okay. And she was really scared and sad. And they took her to another room where a guy had like a lot of boxes, and he got like an Apple Watch but bigger, and saw it how it was like a part and put it around my mom's leg. And my mom was really scared because she didn't want that. I was really worried. Like, what's going on? What are they doing? Why are they putting that on my mom's leg? After she got that on her leg, we went to a place that it was the salida. And our lawyer was there and she picked us up. And I was really happy we got out of that place. But I was really worried about my mom's leg. And the lawyer gave me toys and we went a place to eat. I was really happy with all the things I had. And after, we went to a place called Posada. And that's when there were a lot of women and I was scared of what would they do. We went to a place to sleep next to 3 women and we didn't have to pay rent or anything, but we had a limited time to stay there. At that time, I remember my mom's leg monitor was beeping and saying battery low. So she had to stand next to a wall charger and wait until it fully charged. And that's how we would go. Every day my mom would say, oh, it hurts. And my mom would put something to make it more breathable. But it was so tight to put something on. I would sometimes see blood coming out. And I would get really worried and try to do something and try to clean it up. And that's when my mom went to a place to see how much time she had been with that monitor. She would be there every month. I remember they took it off and saw a lot of marks and they cleaned it up and put it back, and then they would still put it really tight. And that's how every time would go, until one day they told us that the police could get us and take us back to our country. And my mom was really scared, so she talked to the owner of the place. And she said she couldn't do anything, and if they come, she was gonna open the door and let us go. So my mom would look at the window, and she wouldn't sleep because she was scared. And that's when she tried to find help. She found a person who could help us, and told that they were a church that had a sanctuary. But my mom didn't know what was that. She only knew she had to stay in a church and couldn't go out. And of course, she said yes, because she needed help. So we came to this church, and the next day we brought our things. At first, we were happy. We were happy, but scared. And there were a time when my mom took off her leg monitor called grillete. I was scared because I remember what they told us over there. And I told her, no, don't take it off. But she said, don't worry, they already know where we are. And she put a little bit of shampoo and took it off. She was bleeding because of the pressure she made, but she did it. And the church helped us. And we are more than 4 years in this church. And when I came here, I was 9, and now I'm 14 years old. And I don't know when I'm gonna have a normal life. And when I'm gonna get free.